What if I told you that you could build an entire iOS app without writing a single line of code? You might think I'm exaggerating, but in this video series, I'm going to show you exactly how AI is changing the way that we make apps. I'm using Cursor AI to build a complete mobile app that connects car washers with customers, like Uber Eats, but for keeping your car clean. You're probably wondering, is this just going to be a simple app that doesn't really do too much? Not at all. We're building a full app with user accounts, business profiles, booking features, and service menus. The kind of app that would normally cost thousands of dollars to make. Today, in part one, we'll cover three main things: setting up the project, creating the backend, that's the behind the scenes part of the app, like the database, and adding a secure login system. These things would usually take a lot of technical knowledge, but you can see how AI does most of the work. The best part? You don't need to know how to code to follow along. Whether you have your own business idea or you're just curious about making apps, this series will show you exactly what's possible with AI-powered development. So how are we actually going to be building this car washing app? Let me show you. Alright guys, so the software we're actually going to be using in this video to create the application is called Cursor AI. So if you're familiar with VS Code, just imagine VS Code infused with AI that allows you to just communicate with it, kind of like ChatGPT, and then it will create code, and then you can just directly include it in your code base, basically. Super simple, not and you'll learn a bit more as we go along and just see how it works, right? But just go to cursor.com, click on if you have Mac OS, click on download for Mac. If not, click on all downloads, and then they have Windows and Linux and stuff like that too as well if you use that sort of thing. But once you download it, it'll download right to your computer. You just open it up, follow the steps, and then boom, you have it. The other thing we're going to be using is Xcode. Because we're going to be building an iOS app, we're going to be using what's called Xcode. So you just open it up on your computer. It went to my other screen. So when you open up Xcode, this is what you're going to see. If you don't have Xcode, again, just go to the, you need a Mac for Xcode, 100%. You can't use Xcode without it. Just go to the App Store on your Mac, type in Xcode, and then you'll be able to download it. So once you see this page, just click on Create New Project, click on App, and then I'm going to call this app Go Wash iOS. Team, if you don't have this team set up, Google it, go through, or go on YouTube and look up how to get this team set up. I'm not going to go through that process right now. Organization is kind of just it's the reverse version of your URL or your domain. So if you have a domain that you have, or you can just make one up. Mine is dartenterprises.co. If you go to that website, that is my company. So in order for it to work, you would do co.dartenterprises and then dot the name of the actual product, right? So it's the bundle identifier would be co.dartenterprises.go wash iOS. Very simple. Leave the interface as Swift UI, language as Swift, testing system as Swift testing with XC test UI test, and storage none, right? We're going to leave those as they are. Then click on next. And then we're going to select where we actually want to keep this. I'll keep this on my desktop. That's fine. Create. All right. So then I will move this to the side. And that's all we really need from the Xcode standpoint. Now for Cursor, right? So if you've been following along, you might have just downloaded Cursor. Just open it up. So I have a window open right here. I'm just going to drag it up here. So when you open Cursor, this is what you'll get. And you have the ability to just open any project that exists in your file system. So because we just created this Go Wash and I created it in my desktop, I'm going to click on Open Project, Desktop, Go Wash. And then just click it, click Open. And now all the code that is over here exists over here. Fail to launch app in reasonable time. What's going on? So yeah, in Cursor, all of the code, you can see that content view is the same, right? We have these 25 lines of code, same 25 lines of code over here. And they are now essentially linked, right? So I can do my coding. In Cursor AI, and it will automatically update this function or this Xcode project over here. All right, so the problem was I just had to switch the thing that I'm building to. So instead of my iPhone, it would be to just any iOS device, and then that's how you get it to show up down here. But the first step would be to open up the composer. So the way that we open the composer is come up to View, click on Command Palette, and then this will open up the drop down, type in Composer, and then New Composer. So over here on this right hand side, it opens up basically just a chat similar to ChatGPT. You can just talk to it, tell it what to do, and it will go ahead and do it and modify your code. The way that we do this is, you can also select the models that you want to use as well. So there's 3.5, 3.7. 3.7 is phenomenal. If you've heard of Cloud Code or the new 3.7 model, this is by far the best coding model at the moment. And we're actually going to be testing it out today. Sonnet 3.7 Thinking is a even better version, but we're just going to do the 3.7 Sonnet version for now. You can also choose 4.0, 4.5 Preview, 4.0 Mini, 0.1, or Default. So what we're actually going to want to do first is create a meaningful prompts for this. So I've actually gone ahead and already created a prompt for this for ChatGPT, right? Because I want, instead of putting the prompt directly in here, I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and then I want it to restructure the prompt that I've created and make it ideal for this composer. So the way we do that, go back to ChatGPT, and then I'm going to be using the 4.0 mini model. Should be perfectly fine. All right, so very simple. I have a prompt / description of an iOS app that I want to build using Cursor AI, an AI code editor. I need you to take the prompt and optimize it for Cursor AI so that it builds the application that I've described. Do you understand? It's probably going to say something like, yes. Yes, I understand. Drop the prompt subscription here. I'll optimize it for Cursor to ensure it generates the best possible code for your application. All right. And this is my application. So I want to build an iOS app that connects mobile detailers and car washers with customers who want a convenient service. It should operate similar to Uber Eats or DoorDash, where the user can log in, view nearby businesses, see their menu, and schedule a time for the service. There will be two types of accounts, users and washers. Washers will have a profile, can add services to their menu, upload videos and images, integrate with their calendar, and set operating hours. Users can add their vehicle or multiple vehicles, browse through washers near them, and schedule appointments. Both users and washers can also view upcoming and past appointments and details about them. Perfect. Let me just format it a little bit, and then let's see what it gives. And while we're doing this, so some of the things that we're going to be using is user authentication, stuff like that. And when you're building an app, one thing that you want to keep in mind is how you're storing data and interacting with things like that. So for this, we're going to be using something called Supabase, which is basically just it's basically just a backend that you can use that is an open source alternative to Firebase. Firebase is Google's kind of free version of using their database and stuff like that. They have real-time databases, functions, in-app messaging. They have a whole suite of tools for hosting the back end of an application. We're going to be using a free alternative called Supabase, and it works amazing for these types of use cases. I like Superbase a lot. If you haven't used it, I'll definitely try it out. And if any of this is kind of confusing to you guys, just kind of try to follow along. I know some of this can get a little bit technical, but I promise it's actually a lot simpler than actually going out and having to like learn how to code and do all that, right? You just need to kind of understand the high level of what is necessary to build the application. But from there, you know, Cursor can kind of take the reins and do everything from there. So let's go back to ChatGPT and see what it came up with. Swift-based iOS app with clean, modular, scalable code using Swift UI. The app should include user authentication, real-time scheduling, geolocation-based browsing data. Blah. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna copy this and then go bring it back to our composer. So another thing that we can do in Cursor AI is add context, which is one thing that I love about it so much, is because you can add context, it can completely understand you know, what you might be trying to accomplish. It can understand how data should be structured in a certain way, stuff like that, right? So the way that you do that is type in @ and then you'll get this whole drop down. What we're gonna do is add docs. I've already added in the docs that I want to actually use for this, but I'm gonna show you what it would be like if you did not do that. So you would click on add new doc, and then you see that it's trying to accept a link. You would go to the different documents that you want it to be using. So for this, we're gonna be using the Superbase documentation. So I would just copy this link, come back, paste it in, and then just give it a name and click on confirm. I've already done that, so I'm not gonna do that. And then I would do the exact same thing for both the UI do's and don'ts from Apple. This is directly from Apple telling you how to build iOS applications, things that you should look out for, stuff like that. And then you should also do that for the Swift documentation. So Swift is just the language, the coding language that iOS apps are built in using Xcode. So these are the 3 documents that we're going to be using. Maybe we'll add more down the line. As of right now, these are the 3 that we're going to be sticking with. So I'm going to add all 3 of these documents to my context for this composer. So I'm going to click @ and then docs, and then I'm going to do the Apple Swift, which is this documentation, and then I'm going to go back to docs, and then the Superbase documentation, and then add docs, and I'm going to click the Apple's design tips, right? So now that I have that, I'm also going to add in the code base, which is all of the files that are in this project that exist. So now that the Cursor has the context for everything that I want it to do, I'm going to paste in my prompt. Should not have actually copied that. Let me recopy this. And enter. And now it's just, you know, watch it go to work. You can see over here that it's also creating the files that is necessary for this app to even function. So it's creating them over here in Cursor, and you can see that it's linked because it's actually creating them in real time in Xcode as well. And it does a really good job of explaining what it's doing in every single step. So I'm gonna wait for this to complete. All right, so now it just finished, and I can just hit this accept all button, and it'll just completely populate all the changes. Right now, you can see all these question marks because none of these changes are actually saved or anything like that. Clicking accept all will save the changes and update the application. But really quick, I want to show you just how good it is at following my directions. So you saw exactly what I wanted it to do. First step is setting up Supabase for a car wash iOS app. So based on your project description, I'll help you set up the initial Supabase integration, and then it creates the Supabase client file. That's great. Then it creates an app view to handle authentication states. That's great. Creates a view to authenticate users. Creates user type selection. Creates a placeholder tab for views for customers and washers. Very good. It updates the main app's entry point. And then this is something that I would run in Supabase. So I would actually just copy all of this and run this in the Supabase Skool. And then it gives you next steps. So add the Supabase package to your project. Follow Apple's tutorial on adding per package dependencies to add the Supabase Swift package. Implement model files. Implement the actual views. Add location services. Add payment processing. Add push notifications. So I'm just going to click on accept all and see how our app looks right now. Okay, so there is some sort of error. Click on the error, and then you can see that the error starts here. I'm just going to copy everything in between the preview update error because it kind of just repeats. So I'm going to copy everything between that one and this one. Copy. At code base. So again, I'm just adding the entire code base so that it understands, it has the context of everything going on in the application. And then I'm going to click, or I'm going to type in, I'm getting this error. All right, so it actually walks me through exactly what to do. So adding the Supabase package to your Xcode project. You're getting the error because the Supabase Swift package hasn't been added to your project yet. Let's fix that by adding the Supabase Swift package dependency. So open the Xcode project, click OK, click on the click File, Add Packages. So Xcode, File, add package dependencies. In the search bar of the Swift package manager, enter this URL. And click add package. Choose the version. Choose the version rule. Up to the next major is a good choice. Yep, perfect. Click add package. In the next dialog, select Supabase product and click add package. So click add on Supabase. We're also going to add storage, auth, shouldn't need functions, Postgres, or real time yet. And then click on add package. Perfect. So now we have all of those things added. Let's see if our application works. Alternative method if you prefer to edit the project file directly. So it also gives an alternate method as well. So I could have just done this without actually adding the package. Okay, so we're getting another error. And what is this error? Copy it. Add code base. Okay, so let me actually update these strings. So go to Supabase URL. So I need my Supabase URL from my Supabase project. I created this project in Supabase, so just log in, create an account, and then click on your organization, click on that, and then click on create a new project. Super simple, just give it a name, and then you'll be brought to this page. So now I'm going to go to my project settings, and then I'm just going to copy this project ID, and then replace this first part with my project ID. So just replace that first part. So it's project ID .supabase.co, and then your actual Supabase anon key. So then I'm also going to get my anon key by going to data API, and then this is my anon public key right here. Just click on copy and paste. And then accept all. Another error. All right, so there's no more errors, but I'm going to go ahead and create SQL for Supabase database. So you need to run this in your Supabase project to create the necessary tables. I'm just going to copy all of that, go back to my Supabase SQL editor, and then just copy that in there. Click on run. So I need to run this first. Run that. All right, so it worked. And then I can actually just instead of going back and copying the whole thing again, I can just click on Command Z, which will just basically undo and then bring everything back. And then I'm going to run it again. Missing from clause, entry for old. All right, so everything, I just had to brute force my way through all of those errors. But now let's try running this on an iPhone 16 Pro. So I was gonna just create a simulation, build succeeded. It's gonna pop up with a simulated iPhone. All right, so I'm just gonna speed this section up a bit. I'm gonna create 2 accounts. So the first account that I'm creating is a customer. So I'll just enter an email and a password. And then I'm just gonna change the email, use the exact same password when I'm creating the car washer account. And then I'm gonna go back and try to sign in here, but I have to confirm my email. All right, email confirmed. I'm just gonna type my email in again, password, try to sign in, but you can see, well, you can't actually see because my head is in the way, but in the logs of Xcode, there's actually an error. I'm just gonna copy that error and bring it over to Cursor and basically just, send it to Cursor, get it to tell me what the error is and see how I can fix it. So I guess we got past the error. So I'm gonna try to sign into the customer account, and you can actually notice that this thing will kind of just endlessly say loading your account. And then after a while, I just go ahead and tell Cursor that, hey, it's endlessly loading the account. How can we fix this, basically? So I'm waiting, and then yeah, here's where I go ahead and tell Cursor to basically fix this error. Alright, so now here we got everything working, and I'm signed into the customer account. You can see all of the different pages that are found on the customer side of things. We have home, find, appointments, vehicles, and profile. Then you can sign in, sign out. So I sign out there. Then I'm going to sign into the car washer side of the application and just entering my password. And now here on the car washer side, you can see we have dashboards, appointments, services, earnings, and profile. And there you have it. We've successfully set up our project, built the backend, and created a secure login system for our car washing app, all without writing a single line of code ourselves. It's pretty amazing what AI can do these days, right? But before you go, I want to give you a sneak peek in what's coming in part 2. So we'll be designing the user interface for both the customers and the car washers, creating the service menu system, and setting up the map feature to show nearby detailers. It's going to be really exciting to see our app start to take shape visually. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps out the channel. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss part 2 next week. If you have any questions about anything that we covered today, or you have suggestions for features you'd like to see in the application, drop them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer or even include them in upcoming parts of the series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.